members here. We will unlock growth, AI, big data, and the CEO's playbook for innovation. Allow me to welcome your session moderator, Alokedeep Singh, the founder and strategic advisor at Fuel Growth Consulting. Alokedeep, hi, and a very, very warm welcome. I know I stole a few seconds, minutes from your panel, but no, we have not started the timer, so all good. Can we also have our much learned panelist as well? Let's have Gagan Singla, the managing director at BlinkX by JM Financials. A warm, warm welcome to you. Can we please have Harsh Parekh, the co-founder at API Holdings. Harsh, hi, and a very warm welcome. Keep it up on the excitement meter as we also welcome Sachin, Seth, the MD Ebix Cash Financial Technologies and Director BSc Ebix InsurTech JV. Sachin, hi, and a warm welcome. And Alokedeep, we'll request you to please take charge and take us through the conversation.
Hi, good evening. It's in the evening. Good evening, everybody. This is Alok. I run a strategic consulting firm called Fuel Growth. It's a startup, and in past lives, I've been a country head with HSBC. I've also worked for the Tata Group, Titan, ICICI, and a lot of brands. So, and AI has been an interesting piece. While I'm not a techie, we had a lot of enriching conversations before this from CTOs and CIOs. But yes, I mean, I've seen the evolution from, I think, creating a chatbot at Titan for Tanishq's buyers using AI in a very large way in banking and financial services. And now, I think, we're all kind of embezzled by what Gen AI has done in the last year and a half. We were just having a conversation before we walked in terms of the sheer number of use cases that we can kind of envision are so many. So obviously there has been conversation about how the technologists or today the heads of technology, data are doing their bit on the AI space. This is, I would think, is a more strategic kind of a conversation. And we all know today that AI is no longer a subject that is restricted to the domain. It's a much bigger subject. There are businesses, there are governments, there are regulators today who are looking at policy formation around this. And so today, I don't think there is any CEO who can really ignore this or say that in the good olden days that, yeah, let's have 3 people work on it. I think the CEO has to have his organization's AI strategy in his back pocket. And it is not for the sake of just having it, it has to be embedded in the organization. And which is why we have 3 CEOs over here coming from different backgrounds. We have financial services, fintech, investment platforms, healthcare, a whole healthcare platform. So we'll start the question with Harsh. So I think we were just having a conversation of how they kind of took on the traditional distributors of medicines and today power the supply chain of I didn't know about this, about chemists all over, the bigger chemist chains and the chemists all over the country. They also have brands like PharmEasy and ThyroCare. So, and healthcare again is an industry which has tons of data. So, Harsh, over to you. Help us understand what are you doing as far as AI or its newer cousin, generative AI is concerned. Over to you, Harsh.
Thank you. I think for a lot of people, I think when you hear the word AI, people get anxious, saying, oh, AI means people will lose jobs. I think that's the first thing which comes to everyone's mind these days. And I'll simplify it, right? I just believe in simplifying things. I think we have to look at it from how can it influence each and every function you run. It can be a small business, it can be a large business. For people who are not aware, API Holdings, we run India's largest healthcare platform, which is more popularly known as PharmEasy and ThyroCare. So the ability for us to deliver medicines to any PIN code within 4 hours to, say, 2 days is purely because every single layer we've been using technology. Let me first try and give an example of what are the use cases in non-healthcare, because I think a lot of time people just don't understand AI use kahan ho raha hai, and I'll be very candid here, right? So I think it's important to just break the conversation. Something as simple as marketing, right? Creating an Instagram reel was a very, very tough job. Anyone in this room can go and do that in 2 seconds right now, and that's what AI is out to disrupt, right? So earlier you needed a content guy, a techie, a designer, like a simple marketing function. Now that is required for a small business, big business, every single business. HR को एक पोस्टर बनाना होता है, वो उसके लिए भी you have to go write an email, do 10 different things. You don't need all of that now. You can do it on your own. Will that mean creative people will be out of the job? I don't think so. Because what to do, you will still need to do that. Will it mean a lot of menial jobs will go out? Definitely they'll go out, right? So I think you really need to understand what they're trying. Like you don't need 10 designers anymore if you're running a marketing organization. It can be done in 2 designers or 1 designer. वो designer भी AI use करते हैं, right? So when I work with my marketing teams, I know when they're giving me chat GPT outputs and when they're giving me their own outputs. To decide a marketing campaign, there were agencies, now you can really break that up. Coming to healthcare, I think it's a complex problem, right? I think we were the pioneers, be it in chat or, I think the easiest thing all of us have always felt is normal chat, right? I think any app nowadays has an AI chat bot, right? Who will not solve your problem, but will be there to just at least ease out the anxiety you have. I think for us, various layers on diagnostics, a lot of work is happening, right? So we used to historically take manual reports. All of that is now happening through AI and technology, right? What analysis, my report turnaround times, a report which used to take 6 hours is now 2 hours. All my warehouses, the kind of automation we've been able to do. One is big data, and I think AI has various layers to it, right? Generative AI, big data, machine learning, all of that. We've been able to reduce the pickup time by almost half because we know what medicine, where, how to pick it up. Even the warehouse algorithm is designed by the system. So it's not me telling the warehouse guy, oh, look, you need to go from here to here. Last mile, I think classic problem to deliver anywhere in this country, route algorithms, right? And most importantly, I think healthcare needs a lot of personalization. So you are a diabetic patient. Your journey is very, very different from a mom who just had a kid and what journey she wants to do. Now we have 75 user journeys. It's not me working manually there. I think a lot of generation. So I can go on and on, but essentially anything and everything you guys see, there is some layer of technology. Complex problems might have machine learning, deep tech, or something as simple as just using generative AI and output-driven AI, right? So without getting into the technicality, I think every function in any organization will need to use some sort of AI or some sort of machine learning in their functions.
So thanks a lot. And Gagan, I think from your perspective, you've been a practitioner in the digital data technology space for a long while. Recently, I think Blink has signed up a partnership with Google Cloud. So as today a platform that competes in the market with the likes of Zerodha, and we all know today how much interesting the subject of investments is given the way the markets have behaved in the last 1.5, 2 years. So everybody, I think, today wants to catch on. So what's your take and what are you doing today to maybe personalize the experience for the client who's coming for investment on Blink?
Yeah. See, we, industry like us, right, has to be very, very focused on regulation and compliance. Right? So we generally run our business around 3 pillars. One is compliance regulation, one is customer experience, and third, most important for me or for the internal team, after these 2 are done, is revenue. Right? So we are right now working in a way that AI is, and I don't see that AI for us is something that we started big time after Gen AI. We were actually doing a lot of AI. I had myself written an article 7 years back that AI will generate music, and that was 2017. AI will generate a lot of artwork. So I think I've been lucky enough to be able to see how AI has been growing, and I was doing AI in 1997. in my courses, and I was doing my BTech thesis in AI. So there's a good thing is that we are using AI in compliance, we're using AI in customer experience, we're using AI in revenue also. And compliance is very big nowadays. I think I don't have to talk about it much, just that if we use AI, the quality of compliance significantly improves. And that is very important, the speed and quality of compliance, right? If there is a signature which has to be cross-checked, the AI helps us to cross-check that signature very, very well with significant accuracy. And you can actually trust it to the level that now the regulators also have given a sign-off on a lot of that, right? So that kind of gives us a lot of value in terms of AI. In terms of revenue, giving a lot of personalization, earlier also personalization was there, right? But the problem is that the personalization accuracy has drastically increased. And that is important. And earlier, if you see real analytics, what I have done for 20 years, you can always generate insights, but you cannot generate the final message. So we used to say that this customer wants this at this time. And that you could do with advanced analytics. But you could not generate that actual creative message earlier. And as Harsh said, now we can generate the creative message also with perfection, which is the power of Gen AI. Yeah, this reminds me of things we should not do in AI also. So I have one team member who has been, whose English is okay. He used to write me mails in English, which was not perfectly okay. So, and I used to kind of approve or disapprove or so on. Recently, he started writing very, very long emails and very perfect English. So then I started seeing कि उसने किया क्या है. Finally, I realized all his mails are coming from ChatGPT. So this is something we should not do. We should not do. I think we should be ourselves. Right? In customer experience, I talked about in revenue, the quality at which we are able to actually estimate what the customer wants in terms of what activity they will do has become again very good. So in my view, the way AI moves is that it has done generation in terms of messaging and communication, and the accuracy has increased in all the three areas of compliance regulation, revenue, and customer experience. All three have helped. And if I run around these three pillars with perfection, I think I can be the best and the biggest.
No, I think that's phenomenal, and thanks for bringing in the funny aspect. And you mentioned about music. I think generative AI has taken the whole model to another level. In fact, there's a client of mine who's using today generative AI to build a proposition that is going to come for Valentine's Day. You were able to record music in a voice of your choice for your, as in the boy for the girl, and it is actually gender agnostic as well. So, but then it brings in the whole aspect of plagiarism today, copyright, misuse. In the case that he mentioned is about
AI does not make mistakes the way human makes sometimes.
Correct.
That is how you capture, right?
Correct.
So that is one thing we have seen. Sorry,
yeah. Yeah, and we've had film stars in India. We've had people talking about the whole creative copyright. So that actually brings me, or lets me segue the conversation towards Sachin. And Sachin, I would like you to give us both the views from an operator's perspective. Today, you're the CEO for a financial services organization, and in a past life, you've been a partner with EY. Now, you've seen the consulting side of the spectrum, you've seen the operations or the actual work that happens. So, what's your today perspective on in terms of the innovation that today AI has the potential, or how are CEOs going to really take it seriously, or is it really an impact, or is it, like we said, we had these use cases, is just a hype?
Yeah, I think you have asked very valid questions. So first of all, let me start with a little bit of a, bringing a little bit lightness in the room. You talked about my consulting life. In consulting life, I used to think that every problem can be solved as long as it's not my problem. And that's where, when I used to go and talk about AI, ML, and I see some of my ex-customers here, they are smiling, that, it was like buzzword. There was a lot of hype about it. We used to force fit AI in everything. We used to, it's a way trend works, right? And it's not about just that, consultant or anybody, a service provider advising it. Actually, the organization also has a lot of champions that they want to do something new. And they also want to prove a point. And I think that those were the days of a couple of years back when things were happening. But when I'm in the operator seat right now, actually I realized that, and whatever Gagan said, accuracy, I would just add 3 more points to that. That, effectiveness, efficiency, and scalability. I think these are the 3 points I want to add that, I have seen that there are a lot of opportunities in the organization. You don't need to really make big use cases. There could be as small use cases as creating some marketing collateral, maybe using some kind of a communication, maybe sort of creating some kind of validation of even insurance policies, creating a dashboard. I mean, there are so many use cases actually wherein you can look at effectiveness, efficiency, and scalability, right? Which probably with human interventions, it does require a lot of sort of skills, which, is not available generally, right? So, yeah, I mean, giving you both perspectives, yes, I mean, from market perspective, yes, there will always be areas wherein CEOs will be bombarded with a lot of use cases by their own team members or by external world, saying that, everything AI can do and everything AI is, and the world is going to be AI. Practically, if you ask me, we don't need to look around toward very big use cases. If you look at very small use cases, very effective use cases, I think 20 to 30% efficiency can be brought in any organization by current applicability of AI, which is very much proven, right? And I'm not talking about Gen AI and prompt engineering and other things, which obviously will make the things much better, right? So this is where I see that, real use cases and which are helping in customer service, customer acquisition, or even compliance, etc. And these are the real ones which are helping all of us here.
No, I think we have, at least in terms of maybe at least a chain of thought, we have very less time in terms of at least improving productivity, customer service, automation. We spoke about the whole creative process, then in terms of personalization, and then the number of examples, kind of, there are so many. So we have about a couple of minutes. I'll just briefly ask the panel, since healthcare and both financial services are regulated industries. So just a brief touch point or maybe 2 lines about what's your take on, or what are you doing around the regulatory space? And then we can take a couple of questions from the audience.
I'll just take 30 seconds. See, one more thing which is coming, everybody knows about it. We are talking in different forums. I think ethics in AI, toxicity, AI thinking itself and creating things which are not it is intended to do it. So that's where regulatory issues are going to come. Data privacy also issues is going to be one of the activity. So I operate in financial services industry a lot, and I see there is a lot of regulations need to get aligned to the use of AI. But I hope that will be a collaboration between the regulators and the industry, and that will be for the good, yeah.
Maybe Harsh, you can take it from
Sure.
healthcare.
So I think at least financial services has had their UPI moment. I think healthcare with NHDM, I think, is at least going through the same journey. So the industry, I think, is now mature enough. Kind of agree that if all stakeholders sit down together, I think we are still at a very nascent stage. All of us, when I say all, the government, the regulators, industry experts will really need to think through this, especially in healthcare. There's a lot of data, a lot of things. I think, how do you co-create this with a very, very open mind and not a one single platform? And I think NHDM is the first step towards that. It's taken us a lot of time to get there, but at least the government is pushing all stakeholders in the ecosystem. I think that happens, it will be the UPI moment in healthcare, which will really make healthcare accessible for all. So hoping to see much more changes there, and I think collaboration is the right way forward for ensuring compliance and regulation.
I think the only thing I'll add is that one interesting thing we have recently seen, that the kind of mistakes actual human being makes is not made by AI. So anybody who's trying to mimic someone or copy someone, and it's being too perfect, then it probably is an AI. So that is one way to find mistakes. And so we have used this in compliance. It really works well. Yeah.
Okay, so our time's up, but I think you can give me maybe a couple of questions from the audience. One question? Okay. There's a gentleman who raised his hand in the end of the room. Okay. Any questions, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case, if you would want to quickly think if there's something striking your mind, you could ask them right now. Of course, they'll be there for connecting with you all later, but for now, very quickly. I'm guessing not at the moment. All right, thank you, gentlemen. We'll request the four of you to please rise for a group photograph as well, without which we don't let you leave the stage. And like always, I would request you to usher in a round of applause and acknowledgement for the panel discussion that I hope was worthwhile and worth your time listening to. So thank you so much.